Well, this archery block is way past its prime. So we're gonna make a brand new one with mostly just crap that's lying around my garage, making it the disaster you see here. What's up guys, it's Eric from Late to the Game Outdoors, and here's the plan. I want to build a new archery target. I want a much bigger archery target because this thing has served me well. It's been fine, but I just switched to a slider sight this year. So man, I plan to practice out to like 90, 100 yards. I would never dream of shooting an animal at that distance, but I want to practice that far so that once I bring it inside my fixed pins, that feels like a chip shot. To do that, I'm gonna need something bigger than this because I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not that good of a shot. So I've already lost more than a couple arrows shooting at 70 yards at this thing, and so there's no way I'm going to convince myself to scoot it back even farther and start flinging expensive arrows off into the desert. So I poked around on the internet for a little bit and found a couple different ways people do this, but here's what we're gonna do. I've got a bunch of scrap wood from 1,000 old projects lying around here. We're gonna turn that into a simple box frame. We're going to mount it to a heavy-duty gardening cart because my particular setup is I live in the suburbs, but I have state trust land 3 doors down from me with a nice dirt road that just runs down. So if I can put my target on wheels, it doesn't matter how big or obnoxious it is, I can just open up the garage, wheel it out with me, shoot, bring it back like nothing ever happened. I know there's a number of things people use for archery targets. Cardboard was the most readily accessible for me. So I went to a friend of mine who works in like shipping and receiving, and she just said, hey, take anything and everything you want. I loaded up my whole truck bed with broken down cardboard boxes. And so we're going to stuff as densely as we can this box, and hopefully it stops the arrows. But enough talking, it's time to start cutting stuff. Okay, got everything cut. I have my frame for the front, which is some 36 1x4s, some 29-inch 1x4s. You'll see how those join together. Cut the sides out of just old plywood. They're 3 feet. It's gonna be a 3-foot box by 16 inches deep. I originally thought 12, and then I looked at it and I thought, that looks pretty narrow, and I shoot heavy arrows. So push it out to 16, and then these bad boys are just little scraps that were left over from all the rips I made, and gonna use cleats kind of on the insides of the sides to reinforce, make that a stronger joint than just putting screws into plywood. So going to assemble the base of the cart that this is gonna live on, and then just start building it up. All right, we got the foundation all set up. The wagon is assembled. The base plate, all the cleats mounted on. I did run a couple of bolts into this frame. That's really just to keep it from shifting. I don't expect these 2 bolts to hold the entire weight of this thing. So I'm gonna run a ratchet strap up and over it when it's all done. But at least it just kind of keeps the base firmly in place. And man, it's a lot of work for what doesn't look like much yet, but this is the part where it really picks up and things just start flying. We are making progress. There is a wooden box on a wagon next to me, and now it's time to build the actual frames for the 2 shooting surfaces. So there's like 100 different ways you could join these together to make the squares. I'm just trying to go quick, simple, and durable, so we're gonna use wood glue and a Craig jig. Not gonna mess with any like 45s or make the corners pretty, just like stack them on each other, put some glue, screw them together, and then we'll mount the canvas, and this thing will be just about ready. almost done, and thank God, because I don't know if my face is as bright red as it feels, but it is heating up here in the garage. For the actual shooting surface, I'm just using this cheap, simple little painter's drop cloth thing. It's canvas. It has a plastic backing, which I will try to remember to leave on the inside of the thing because I want the paint to stick to the actual canvas. And then I just lay it out, cut it to size, and run a billion staples out of the staple gun into the back of the frame, fold it over on itself, run some more staples, just try to get a real secure hold back there, and get it nice and tight, whatever. So I've got one done, I'm going to do the second one, and then we will throw this whole thing together. Well, she's finally done. Just about. Somehow I thought we had black paint in the garage, I do not. So I have not yet painted, you know, dots and targets and stuff, but there's this little warning label that conveniently came on the tarp, and we're gonna shoot at that. The wind has been kicking up, but really this is just about seeing if this stops an arrow. I'll shoot a field point, I'll shoot a broadhead, and I have my old block set up behind the target just in case I've horribly miscalculated this whole thing, so an arrow doesn't just go sailing through and bury itself back there. Well, this is a 558 grain arrow, 200 grain head, like a 19 point something FOC. So if this target can stand up to that, it'll stand up to virtually anything. Well, it's still there. All right, just because I'm a glutton for punishment, we're gonna send a broadhead to make sure. This is a Vantage Point Archery, 200 grain 2-blade. It's my elk slayer, so let's see how it holds up to that. All right, go check it out. Well, it, if possible, almost worked too well. I had the camera set up on the back to watch arrows punching through, and they didn't even come close to making it all the way through this thing. Obviously, I've switched over to these heavier arrow setups. I'm still tuning them, so I'm not gonna make excuses. I need to do better. But the point is, you can and should build one of these for yourselves. Honestly, cost-wise, I had all the lumber already on me. The wagon was the high-priced item. It was $100 at a Tractor Supply store. And these two drop claws, I think were like $8 each at Home Depot. And I got all the cardboard for free from somebody at work. So, honestly, it's not much more than just buying a new block at Cabela's or wherever, and it's twice as big and at least 3 times as cool. So you should build one. If you haven't already, please just do me a favor, subscribe right down here. If you're having trouble right now tuning your broadheads as season approaches, I've got a video on that right over here. And if you're looking to just get, you know, fired up for elk season, which is upon us in just a couple months, I've got the video of my very first elk right over there. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys next time.